a fractured black rock tossed up from the belly of the earth. It's beautiful but dangerous, and almost masks the true nature of this day. They've come from around the world to test themselves against this razor-edged terrain. Swim, bike, run. A simple formula, a simple creed. Finish whatever it takes.
It was back in the 15th century that Captain James Cook sailed and came across the beautiful Hawaiian Islands. He was met by the warriors. But today, warriors of a different kind have come here to the big island of Hawaii. Hello everybody, I'm Ian Sweet and welcome to Kona, Kaloa Kona. We've come here for the Hawaii Ironman. And since 1978, triathletes, the multi-sportsmen, have been coming here to pit themselves against what many believe is the toughest course on record. And since 1978, both the men's and the women's race has never been won by a European. Today's field, well, that's the best ever, and the Europeans are also at the best. But the question is, can they win?
Mark Allen, the target for every elite athlete in the race. Paula Newby-Fraser, who's come to symbolize the name Ironman, who today races for the last time. And then there's the Europeans. The Germans have dominated the major Ironman races this year. Holger Lawrence, Stefan Holzner, Thomas Hellriegel, and Jürgen Zach have all won over the Ironman distance in 1995. The European Women's Challenge comes from Isabelle Mouton from France, and although a rookie in Hawaii, her impeccable record speaks for itself. But I suppose the main contender to Newby-Fraser is Karen Smyers. But also waiting in the wings are several others, including the Dutchman Frank Heldorn, who, if everything goes to plan, could cause an upset. Well, this is the 19th running of the Hawaii Ironman in Kaloa Kona. It moved here in the early 80s after starting on Oahu, but came to the Big Island, and really the Big Island is its home. $160,000 in prize money have guaranteed the best field in the world. And these are the World Triathlon Ironman Championships. Also, for the first time this year, there is a $100,000 bonus for any man, or the first man to get under 8 hours, and the first woman to get under 8 hours 46. Personal best of this course? Well, in 1993, Mark Allen went 8 hours and 7 minutes and 45 seconds. And also in 1993, Paula Newby-Fraser went 8 hours, 55 minutes and 28 seconds. So, if they want to do the business today, win that $100,000 bonus, they've got to be at their best. The youngest woman in the field, well, that's Lokalani McMichael from Hawaii. She's 18, and the oldest is Jim Ward of 78, another American from Florida. But looking back through, you can see even early on in the opening 2.4-mile swim, 3.8 kilometers, the field has spread out very quickly indeed. And leading, well, that goes to Lars Jorgensen, and well, he's no stranger to swimming. He's an Olympic swimmer, finished 23rd in the 1500-meter freestyle back in the Seoul Olympics. And he's only been in triathlon for a year, and he's looking for the 2000 Olympics when triathlon will be on the games. But back in the melee are two great athletes whose record speaks for themselves.
You can call me whatever you want. You can call me the Zen Master, the Grip, the Iron Man. You know, if you want to use a cliche, it's sort of like a meditation in motion.
Mark Allen, steely calm, focused tempered by the lava rocks on which he's forged his fame. A religious-like resolve led him to 5 straight Ironman titles. He took last year off to be a father. Now he's back. That the man they call the grip of death is actually human has led to a leap of faith. He may also be vulnerable.
I guess there is a lot at risk because the other guys are better than they were a couple of years ago. They're more motivated. They know that the chances to beat me are getting less and less, but their chances of beating me are getting greater and greater.
Last year's champion, Greg Welsh, leads the Legion chasing Allen. The title carries little luster if Mark isn't there. They've trained for this moment. A shot at Allen, a shot at redemption. Before the sun began its slow climb this morning, they gathered to have their bodies marked with black ink. Number 33, reserved, the Queen of Kona. Paula Newby-Fraser has won 7 Ironman crowns, more than anyone in history. Along the way, she's battered her body, pushing herself farther than anyone else has been willing to go.
I have to say this much, that this one is for me this year. This is my last competitive go at the Ironman.
This then for Fraser, one last check of her spirit. For Allen, another test of his desire. And in that chase pack, number 1, that's given to the defending champion from Australia, Greg Welsh. And I suppose he's got something to prove because Allen wasn't here last year, and this is Allen, number 2. And you can already see Allen's plan is to stay with Welsh. It's Welsh's 8th Ironman, but the first time he's been the defending champion. The 2 women's favorite, well, they're already locked in battle. Paula Newby-Fraser, number 33, and number 34, Karen Smyers. This is the turnaround, halfway of the swim, 1.2 miles. And Lars Jorgensen, the swim specialist, well, he's actually on a course record at the moment. The course record, that stood since 1986 when another American, Brad Hinshaw, went 47 minutes and 39 seconds. You can see he's already built up a huge lead, and the Russian Alek Rukasev is in second place, and he was first out of the water last year, so that really does tell you the strength, the swimming prowess of Jorgensen. But Allen and Welsh, they're at the turn point, and they're still back, locked in battle. Also in that lead pack are the lead women. It's Germany's Ute Muckel and Wendy Ingram, the American, but behind them in second and third places are Paula Newby-Fraser and Karen Smyers. And Karen Smyers, well, she's looking to overcome the disaster she had last year when she lost her goggles in that opening swim. And I think she's taken full advantage of that 10-meter lead that the professionals had this year. Looking back through in the wetsuit, well, with 1,500 competitors from 16 countries, that makes up 5,998 arms and legs that actually work. This man, John McLean from Australia, he's a paraplegic, he's a wheelchair athlete, he's the only wheelchair athlete in the field. And this is the biggest man in the field, 295 pounds of him, Darrell Haley. Offensive tackle for the New England Patriot, now triathlete. No one this big has ever attempted the Ironman.
I'm 6'5". This morning I weighed at 295. People say, you ever played football before? Nope, I am a track athlete. For me, the bottom line is to finish any way I can, you know, and still be able to say, hey, you know, I did the Ironman.
Before you question a man this large attempting an event like the Ironman, consider the ring he wears. Haley made it to the top of the NFL. He was part of the New England Patriot team that played in Super Bowl 20.
Once I retired, there was a huge void. It was a void that I still wanted to compete. I still wanted to get out there and have the desire, you know, to challenge myself and see just where I can go with it. The first time I saw the Ironman on TV, you know, my thought was, this is really insane. This is unbelievable. People actually do this. And I never even thought in my wildest days that I would be willing to do something like that. But once I learned more about it, I wanted to be a part of it. And today, I love saying that I am a triathlete opposed to a ex-professional football player.
Well, certainly Haley in his weakest discipline is going to have to pull his socks up if he's going to beat the Ironman swim cutoff, because everyone has to finish the 2.4 mile swim in 2 hours, 20 minutes. That seems a long time, but certainly isn't a long time for this man. This is the 25-year-old from Knoxville, Tennessee, Lars Jorgensen, and he's coming out in a record-breaking swim, 46 minutes and 44 seconds. That's just under a minute inside Hinshaw's 47 record, 47.39 that he went in 1986. And that's the strength of Jorgensen. Now he's got two disciplines, the bike and the run, which really are his weakest. In second place, Alec Rukaseov. He was leading last year, and he's having problems keeping on course. And behind him, a huge pack have gathered, which have included, I suppose, the pre-race favorites of Welsh and Allen. This is the lonely man in the bike park, 1,500 bikes, one man, Lars Jorgensen. And I suppose he's running scared now. He's done the best he can, and by George, that was a great best, a new swim course record. This is the lead woman challenger in terms of Paula Newby-Fraser and Karen Smyers, still locked in battle, and I should think she's getting fed up, is Newby-Fraser, of the claws, the fingernails of Karen Smyers. But these are the lead women coming out, Wendy Ingram and Uta Muckle. They're out in 51 minutes and 44, and right behind, Greg Welsh. And this is Welsh running up through the transition area, and Mark Allen with him. So there's only 3 seconds separating Allen and Welsh, the two pre-race favorites. But this can be lost very quickly in the transition. But the women, the lead women are out, but the favorites, Paula Newby-Fraser and Karen Smyers, they're out into the, running up into the transition area. And now they've got to find their bag, have a quick change, then get out onto the second discipline, the 112 miles of biking. And Smyers is having great problems finding bag number 34. Well, it is one of 1,500, only something like 20 or 30 bags have gone since. And there she's found it, it was on the floor. So now it's into the pedals, fuel up, and get ready for 112 miles in the lava field. And this is this man's domain, the lava fields for Mark Allen. Huge crowds traditionally come out to watch this race. As Paula Newby-Fraser now, she's, well, they came out equal. It looks as though she's got a slight advantage. Now she's one of the athletes who'll put the shoes on in the bike park. Third woman out. Well, it's not the third woman, the third of the favorites. That's Isabelle Mouton from France. She's just about a minute or so behind Newby-Fraser and Karen Smyers. So she's in the position that she wanted to be before the race started. So though Smyers is first out, she hasn't got her shoes in the, or feet in the shoes. And you can see Newby-Fraser, slight advantage to her. So I suppose that's round one to Newby-Fraser as they head out now. Up the hill, out onto the lava field. Well, as they head on their weary way for the second discipline, we'll take a short break. For that number one position, and he just cruises by Greg Welsh, the defending champion. And these are the only two men who have won this race since 1988. Jürgen Zach Well, the swimming is over, now it's the biking, and this is the best biker. He holds the bike record here. And in 1995, the German Ironman distance has been dominated by the Germans. New Zealand, Australia, Lanzarote and Roth, all won by Germans. Mark Allen spoiled the party as he won in Japan. So the Germans are quite rightly feared, but why are they so strong?
Ja, der Grund, warum Ironman so populär ist.
Jürgen Zach tells us that the Ironman is so popular in Germany because we have a very good event, Ironman Europe at Roth. Yes, Roth is a big party, but the Germans, well, we're also very scientific in our training.
Die Deutschen einfach sehr wissenschaftlich und ernsthaft trainieren.
And what about the German strength? Thomas Hellriegel, he says it's very important to do the Ironman because this is where the media interest is in Germany. Okay, he says, I was successful at the short distance, the Olympic distance, but who cared? No one cared. He said the logical development for me, or the conclusion I came to, is that everyone wants to do well in the long distance, and that's why I'm here in Hawaii. Jochen Basten, he tells us what is so special about Hawaii. He says it's different, not just because of the weather and it's hot and it's windy, but it's also special because all of the top athletes are here, and whoever wants to be the best in the sport has to be at the Ironman. So this is Zach, the 30-year-old. He won Ironman Roth this year. In second place behind him was Thomas Hellriegel, and he looks behind, and who does he see? Thumbs up, I've got company. The company is the soldier, Thomas Hellriegel. He was second behind Jürgen Zach in Roth, but 5 weeks earlier than that, he won Ironman Lanzarote. This was his first major attempt at an Ironman, and he set it off with a victory, second in Roth. So although he's a rookie here in Hawaii, he really has got some pedigree in 1995. And in Roth, well, Hellriegel and Zach worked together, but not today. Hellriegel has turned the screw, and even Zach, the power of Zach, a 4:27 he has on this course, can't go with him. And Greg Welsh and Mark Allen must be thinking, whatever have we got to do to stop this? We've heard about the Germans. Certainly Welsh has known them because he was under their hammer at Roth. But in the women's division, the pre-race favorite is Paula Newby-Fraser, but her main contender, Karen Smyers. And she can see just up ahead is Paula Newby-Fraser. They were locked in battle throughout the 2.4-mile swim, and now it's the 112 miles of biking. And Newby-Fraser really does have a tradition of going for broke into this department. She's one of the strongest women bikers, a frail body, but she generates huge power. And Karen Smyers, I think it'll just be her task to stay with her.
When I first paddled a boat on Walden Pond, it was completely surrounded by thick and lofty pine and oak woods. From a hilltop nearby, there was a pleasing vista southward across the pond.
Walden Pond, an icon of peace, and Karen Smyers' personal training pool.
Psycho is a group of people that all train and compete in triathlons. They also have to exhibit the psycho karma. If you don't feel like throwing up at the end of the workout, you probably didn't work out hard enough. Making a little name for ourselves. Pretty soon everyone's going to be moving to, the Boston area to join Team Psycho. Enough of this Boulder and San Diego stuff.
I don't think so. That's not likely to happen very soon, as most of the world's top triathletes train in Boulder, Colorado for the altitude and San Diego for the climate. An East Coast athlete, an East Coaster, has never had success at the Ironman.
I really love New England to train. Been here pretty much all my life. think if I lived in beautiful weather year-round, the temptation to go out and train year-round would probably be a little bit too much. Sometimes when you are with other people, you think, oh, geez, look how much they're training, and you feel like you should do more. And I'd rather not know what they're doing, because I know my training tends to be on the minimum side of what's necessary, and that just seems to work for me.
Well, that training regime, or lack of one, has been called into question like it's psycho or something, especially since Smars is considered the only real challenge to Paula Newby-Fraser.
She definitely performs, just seems like above and beyond her ability even at that distance on that island. I haven't quite figured out what it takes to beat Paula yet, but that's one of the things that I'm hoping to find out this year.
We are all sculptors and painters, and our material is our own flesh and blood and bones.
There's no doubt that Karen Smars has the pedigree in the sport of triathlon. This is her third time here. She's finished second, but today she'd love to finish first. Wendy Ingram, the early swim leader, she's been passed by Paula Newby-Fraser, and now she's been passed by Karen Smars. Uta Muckel, the German, who came out the water with Wendy Ingram, has also been passed, and she's now back in 4th or 5th position. But Thomas Hellriegel, the soldier, with typical military precision, is having enough of it. He's already got a 30-second lead on Jürgen Zach. But behind, the pack is forming, and what a pack it is. We've got 10 or so guys in it. Mark Allen is on the front. Lothar Leder is in there. Holger Lawrence is in there. Rob Burrell is in there. Rainer Muller, Ken Glar, Cameron Whiteoff, the new young American. Greg Welsh is also in that pack. And there's no Ray. They are actually in the comfort zone. It's much easier than something like Hellriegel is doing. He's by himself, but he's getting some encouragement from the German coach, Stefan Gross, who just shouted across a few comforting words to him. He caught up with him and he told us about the training concept, and he said that, well, we've had this concept for a little while and we've had some good results, but it'll be a few years before we see the full benefit.
Das Rennen in Hawaii ist eingeordnet
and Grosser tells us that for the Germans, Hawaii Ironman is the most spectacular race in the world, and therefore the Federation, the DTU, must be seen to do well here to prove that, prove to the public in Germany that the German triathletes are good. Well, they're certainly good at the moment. Hellriegel is leading. Zach is in 2nd place. But, well, back at the pier, the other race continues. 7 years ago, John McLean, just being carried out here, was a successful rugby player in Australia. He was hit by a truck while riding a bike, and now he's paralyzed from the waist down. A little more than a year ago, he took up triathlon, and today is the lone wheelchair athlete in this sport's greatest event. Can you imagine at 140 miles using your arms only? The ex-football player, triathlete, Daryl Haley is struggling. And while he does, we'll go for a break. Up at Harvey, but it's certainly not affecting Thomas Hellriegel, the 24-year-old German Bundeswehr soldier. The 100 and so age groupers making up this 1,500 athletes are struggling to make the 2:20 cutoff time. 2 hours, 20 minutes for the 2.4 mile swim. But the oldest competitor in the field, Jim Ward from Florida, races for the St. Pete's Mad Dogs Club, is out in incredible 2 hours, 7 minutes and 13 seconds. He's the oldest competitor ever to compete in the Hawaii Ironman. And who are they shouting for? They're shouting for Daryl Haley. He exits the swim in incredible time, 2 hours, 14 minutes and 6 seconds. That's something like 6 minutes inside the cutoff time, and he's now in the end zone. And waiting to meet him is his wife, Sheba. Well, he might be in the end zone, but now, well, his race has got to go on. 112 miles of biking. Bearing in mind, he's 300 pounds light. And then a final marathon run to finish. Thomas Hellriegel is leading the men's race, but leading the women's race is Paula Newby-Fraser. Her lead over Karen Smars is something like 4 minutes, and another minute or so behind her is the French woman Isabelle Mouton, who is now clear in 3rd position. This is Smars in 2nd position, and in 3rd position, Isabelle Mouton. Her sister, her twin sister Beatrice, is always also competing here for the first time like Isabelle. And in stark contrast to the heat, the winds of Hawaii, this is the training ground of Isabelle Mouton. Cap Estoril in the south of France, on the Côte d'Azur. And Isabelle tells us about her success this year. She says she's had a great year, but my first objective was to win Hawaii. But it's been very difficult because of the heat and the wind. And she says, I don't really have the experience, so it's going to be difficult. And she was in Hawaii 10 years ago, and she knows the course, and it looks straightforward, but it's very difficult because of the wind. And well, the bike, you're going to have problems just staying on the bike. And the run, well, that's going to be hard because of the heat and the lava fields.
La chaleur et la lave noire, la chaleur est d'autant plus intense et ça sera difficile.
And her preparations for Hawaii, well, she's trained in Caparest for 2 or 3 months during the winter, primarily for the Olympic distance race, which she's trained and raced a lot this year. But in the last few weeks, she's trained specially for Hawaii. She's been down in the Pyrenees at Font Rameau, where for 3 weeks she trained at altitude with her twin sister Beatrice and Rob Burrell, specifically for the Hawaiian Ironman. And this was really to recharge her batteries, get the motivation for such a long race. And her strengths in Hawaii, well, she says it's not going to be the bike because she wants to leave the best to last. She wants to leave the best for the marathon run. And she hopes it won't be too hot because she feels that if it's right, she can do well. Well, she really does have an impeccable record. This year, she was the European champion over the Olympic distance. Last year, she was the first ever long course world champion when she won Nice down on the Côte d'Azur. So she really does have the pedigree to do well here. Her disadvantage, though, she's a rookie, and a rookie has never won Hawaii. And a rookie is currently leading the men's division. He's carrying on the tradition. A couple of years ago, it was Holger Lawrence leaving at this stage, but this year, it's Thomas Hellriegel. And what a year Hellriegel's had. I was talking to him before the race, and he said, well, I've come here as a learning curve, as I don't think I can do the same tactics as I've done in previous races, which is to go off the front on the bike. But he's certainly doing that at the moment. And in fact, Greg LeMond, the great cyclist, was here, and he said that these are ideal conditions for someone to make a break on this bike, and that's what he's done. And Jürgen Zach in 2nd place, well, he's in no man's land. What does he do? Does he go after him? Does he go after his fellow compatriot? He's certainly not been able to go with him, and or is he going to blow up and leave nothing for the run? Well, it's Hellriegel. He looks across. He can see Zach coming the other way. He's got, what, nearly 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes on that group. And Zach himself has something like 3 or 4 minutes on the pack behind, which is led by the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman, Frank Heldorn. And there's a whole gaggle of athletes in there, including Welsh, Allen, Kenny Glar, Rainer Muller, another German in Lothar Leder, and Stefan Holzner, Holger Lawrence, should I say, with Rob Burrell on the back end. But really, there are 2 types of athletes in this race, those who can win, and then there's those who won't. And that's where we find Christian Bustos. Bustos, a former contender and current miracle, who sadly was pushed to the wrong side of the road by fate and a cyclist's nightmare. This is a man who has seen death, felt its random touch, its unforgiving stare. January 23rd, 1994, La Paz, Argentina.
I see the car very, very near. And like 2 seconds later, I feeling the impacts from behind the car. The front wheels, the car, I hurt my shoulder, and like half a second later, I feeling the other wheels pass over my shoulders. Imagine a race like 150, 160 pulls per minute, and 1 second cuts completely the artery. The blood's going out so fast, and my shoulder, I can move. I can move anything. And I scream to the people, and I say, help me, help me. Call the ambulance now, I'm going to die.
3 years ago, Bustos finished second here in Hawaii. He was considered Mark Allen's heir, next in line to be great. 2 years ago, the man who they say doesn't know when to quit, had to quit. Fatigue and injury forced him out. The accident in South America nearly cost him his life. Doctors battled to save his arm, save some limited use.
The hardest part, I was waiting to recover my hands. Up to almost 8 months, 9 months, I started to do it something like move my finger. But it was before I can do it anything. Like these things, I not do it anything.
Since then, Christian Bustos has done one thing: train.
I wish I can win, you know, but after everything happened, especially after the accidents, after recovery, long time for recovery, a lot of months with no sports. I think going back to racing and the Ironman is going to be super.
The man who faced death, the man who doesn't know when to quit, has trained all these months with one goal: this moment. There's no more popular figure in this race, as everyone fears that this could happen to them, and they would not be what Bustos is. Back again. Well, he's certainly back again. He's about 10 minutes off the pace of Thomas Hellriegel at the moment, but someone on the pace is Paula Newby-Fraser. She's now approaching the 52-mile turn point. She's top 30 overall in the race, and under these conditions, under these wet and windy conditions, this is a phenomenal effort by Paula Newby-Fraser. But the question must be asked, is she going too hard? She's got some great runners behind her in Karen Smars and Isabel Mouton. Thomas Hellriegel here now, just a few yards to go, and he's back into the lava fields and that long windy stretch back to Kaloa Kona, then down to the Kona Surf. In second place, Germany 1, Germany 2 with Jürgen Zach. Zach is now 6 minutes off the pace. And these boys, the defending champion Greg Welch, and right behind him, Mark Allen, must be wondering, have they done the right thing to let the Germans go? But I suppose the problem is that they haven't let them go, they've gone. They've not been able to do anything about it. This is a phenomenal bike ride by Hellriegel. The 4-hour 27 course record by Jürgen Zach. If this was a good day, Hellriegel would be smashing it. And still, Greg Welsh, Mark Allen, they ride in the comfort zone. But Thomas Hellriegel, the soldier with military precision, is by himself. He looks totally unruffled in this position. He's 6 minutes ahead of Jürgen Zach, and he's extending his lead. It's a phenomenal bike ride by Thomas Hellriegel. Certainly the pack with Mark Allen must be concerned, as they're now 8 minutes off the lead.
How many minutes to Jürgen? 8 minutes to Jürgen.
And that's Rainer Müller asking how many minutes behind Rainer Müller. Thomas Hellriegel, of course, is in front of him. Frank Heldorn by the defending champion here, Greg Welsh. But at the moment, it's a one-man race. It's Thomas Hellriegel. Bearing in mind, a European has never won this race. But out on his lonesome is still John McLean, powering himself now down the Queen K Highway. He's in the winds towards Hawaii. And what a performance by this paraplegic. Well, as John McLean turns that gear, we'll go for a break. Well, Paula Newby-Fraser, the lead woman, she's built up an 8-minute lead on Karen Smars and Isabelle Mouton. Whereas Thomas Hellriegel, well, he's got about 11 minutes over the other men at the moment. He's about 6 minutes in front of Jürgen Zach, but this is Paula Newby-Fraser. They're coming up towards the 80-mile mark of the 112 miles of biking. And Karen Smars, 8 minutes back, must be thinking, I know I'm a great runner, but am I giving Paula Newby-Fraser too much? And if she's got worries, what about the men? But this is Smars, though. The 34-year-old from Lincoln, Massachusetts. World champion back in 1990 over the short distance. She finished second here to Paula Newby-Fraser last year, and this is the one she would dearly love to win. Mouton, in her debut Ironman, is in third position, but further ahead, Thomas Hellriegel, the young soldier, is coming towards the end of a phenomenal bike ride. 112 miles of biking, and he's going to be under 4.5 hours in these conditions. And I think under normal conditions, he would have knocked, well, at least 5, if not 10 minutes off Jürgen Zach here in second place's course record. Zach's record is 4 hours, 27 minutes and 42 minutes. And Hellriegel, under these conditions, is only going to be just outside of that.
Here he comes, Germany's Thomas Hellriegel, doing his first ever Gatorade Ironman, leading off the bike. He reaches the...
And I can tell you, he's so casual. This is his first time he's ever biked the full 112 miles here in Hawaii. He's never been up to the turn at Harvey. He's certainly been up there today. Doesn't he look relaxed? Doesn't he look composed? Just 26 miles or 26.2 miles of marathon run. And who knows, we could have a first European champion here in Hawaii. Mark Allen back in second position. He's now 13 minutes behind Hellriegel. He's got along with him Greg Welsh, the defending champion. Rainer Müller is also in there. Pauli Kira from Finland is also in that pack, and they must be wondering whatever has happened today. What have we done wrong to let this man get away from us? And you wouldn't believe it, this is a rookie here in Hawaii. This is the first year he's really put himself to specialize over the Ironman distance. This is the performance of the day for me. But the question must be asked, can he keep going? He's got the best, or marathon best, of 2 hours 58, which he did in both Ironman Lanzarote and Ironman Roth this year. And he looks down through, and he's got 13 minutes. He's most probably heard that he's got 13 minutes over the others. So that means someone's got to run something like a 2 hour 45, 2 hour 44 marathon if they're going to beat him. And only Allen has run faster than that on this course. And bearing in mind that Allen has had a year off, is that possible? So Thomas Hellriegel, the 24-year-old German soldier, started his day and he came out the water something like a minute behind, or a minute and a half behind Mark Allen. But going out on the bike, he's biked 17 minutes quicker than Mark Allen in that group. This is Detlef Kunnel giving him a helping hand. Detlef Kunnel is the race director, the owner of Ironman Roth. Jürgen Zach is now out on the bike, out on the final run course. And he asks our cameraman whether the pack are in, and he learns they're not. So he knows he's got the fairly nice comfort zone over this group. On the back end, in the purple, is Rainer Muller. And just up in front is Mark Allen, Greg Welsh, Rainer Muller, Lothar Leder, Holger Lawrence. A whole host of them. That's Leder going the other way. And that's the first sign, the first sight of them, I should say, of something like 4 hours of biking that Thomas Hellriegel has seen them. So he now knows that he's 2 miles down into the run before they even get back into the transition. 2 miles of running. Paula Newby-Fraser, she's now 100 miles or so into the bike ride, and she's got a 10-minute lead on Karen Smyers, who's something like 2 minutes up in front of Isabelle Mouton. So Mouton, the debutante here, is holding on. She's in contention. She's a great runner. She's done this before, not here, but she's certainly done it in Nice, as has Paula Newby-Fraser. She's won that Nice race twice, as has Isabelle Mouton. So the group are now coming into the transition, and that gives you an idea of the pedigree of these athletes. Welsh ran, well, to win last year, he ran something like 2 hours 48:58. But there's his Mark Allen coming in, Greg Welsh, Lothar Leder. So Germany 1, Germany 2, Germany 3 at the moment in the form of Lothar Leder. Also in there is Rainer Muller. So the Germans really are showing the form that they've shown throughout this year. And now there's a sense of urgency. You can see it, you can feel it with these athletes. They know that they've given this huge margin to Thomas Hellriegel. 13 minutes and 40 seconds. That's a phenomenal lead over a marathon to run. And Thomas Hellriegel, well, he knows he's got to churn out something like a 2 hour 57, 2 hour 58 marathon. So they have it all to do. Mark Allen, he's trying to compose himself now for that final effort. He's had a year out and he doesn't really know if he can put himself through the grinder once more. So Lothar Leder was in 3rd position, Rainer Muller in 4th position, Greg Welsh here in 5th position, and I suppose casually coming out of the transition area is Mark Allen, the grip, in 6th position. The Mighty Mouse and Mark Allen get ready now for this epic duel. The duel in the sun, the duel in the heat. But our hero is still running well. He's well down the road now, but he's got it all to do. They say the Ironman never starts until the marathon, and the marathon never starts until 20 miles. Well, Hellriegel is well into that now. These athletes are just setting out on that 26.2 mile journey. So the threat were the Germans. Germany 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is Rainer Muller in 4th position, just in front, Lothar Leder. He won Strongman a couple of years ago. He's dedicated his life, his young life, to endurance, to the long distance. Greg Welsh, though, he's now starting to struggle. He came in with that pack, but he's got a back problem. He's got back spasms, and already, under a mile into the run, he's stopped. He's stretching. The defending champion doesn't look like he's going to defend his championship. But Allen's picking up the pace. He's moved into 4th place. You can see Rainer Muller, who's in 3rd position. Only Zach, only Hellriegel in front of them. 6 miles into the run, and Rainer Muller and Mark Allen coming back through Kaloa Kona, where they'll finish here in a couple of hours' time, are now running them down. Paula Newby-Fraser coming towards the
I've broken all the rules in training this year. I've done everything a little differently, and I'm going to go out and enjoy it.
A staggering 5 hours, 6 minutes and 4 seconds bike split by the Iron Lady of the sport of triathlon. She's in the position she knows so well. She's won more Ironman than any person in the sport.
So either I'm going to go out and feel great, or I've put myself so far down a hole I'm never coming out again.
Well, she's certainly fully committed. But But Mark Allen, the grip of death, he's got it all to do. He's
I would love
catching
to go
the
out
Germans.
on top, winning Hawaii one more time. However, it may be the best thing for the sport to have the baton pass and have someone beat me in my last time out.
Christian Bustos, he's down in about 12th position, 6 minutes off the pack's pace. So for the man who has seen death, this is another phenomenal performance. Rob Burrell, in his last Ironman, he started here back in 1984. He's running well, he's past the defending champion. He's looking for major honors. But it's still the soldier, it's still the 24-year-old from Bruxelles, Thomas Hellriegel. In second place, Jürgen Zach. Third and fourth, Mark Allen and Rainer Muller, hand in hand.
This is the last one. You would like to finish this with a win.
This is good.
All of a sudden, time sort of disappears. You stop seeing the mile markers on the road. The heat, you know it's there, but you don't really quite feel it. And there's this point of ease, of grace, of quiet, of calm, of strength.
Paula Newby-Fraser, 11 minutes and 40 seconds over Karen Smars, and she's already struggling early in the run. But Thomas Hellriegel, well, he's punching out those miles. He's being consistent. He's doing what he knows he's got to do. And there's no hiding even behind the flowers in Hawaii. In second place is Jürgen Zapp, but he looks back and in amazement he sees Mark Allen, who's now got away slightly from Rainer Muller. So it's Germany 1, Germany 2, USA 3, and Germany 4. Paula Newby-Fraser, she's said, well, she's been told that she's looking good, but I'm not so sure. She's trying to get in those fluids. She has a reputation of dehydrating, and she really has got to keep those fluids high if she's going to last the distance. For me, one of the great sights this year was Paula at Ironman Rope when she really did immerse herself in the feed station out on the run. And the temperatures in Rope were about 35 degrees. They're not quite so hot here today. So the wind was tough, but the heat isn't quite so bad. It's around about 30, 31 degrees as Mark Allen now catches Jürgen Zack. What a run. What a resolve of Mark Allen. So this is where Zach really has to stay composed to see if he can hang on now to Mark Allen. He's been running very well in training, preparing for this race, but training is different to racing. So as they stretch down the Queen K, Allen, Zach, up ahead is still Thomas Hellriegel. It's a lonely road for Thomas Hellriegel, but he's done it before. He's hung on before, but the time is being cut into dramatically by Mark Allen, as is Paula Newby-Fraser's time with Karen Smars. Karen Smars is running about 30 seconds quicker a mile than Paula Newby-Fraser, and she really does look very composed, very comfortable. Well, as Karen Smars starts to catch Paula Newby-Fraser, we'll go for a break. Every event has a tough part, and this is the toughest part of the Hawaii Ironman, the Natural Energy Lab. It comes at the worst possible time. 15 to 19 miles is the Natural Energy Lab. It's raw heat, it's tough, it's hot, it's humid. And this is where, in the past, history has shown us that races have been won and lost. Certainly this man, Mark Allen, has won his fair share in the Natural Energy Lab, and he's looking to do that again today. And this time, his problem is this man, Thomas Hellriegel, the Bundeswehr soldier, who really has had a fantastic race. As a rookie here in Hawaii, he's still out front. He's still got something like 3 minutes and 30 seconds on Mark Allen. They're crossing now. This is the only time they'll cross in the race. I'm sure Hellriegel would have liked to not seen Allen out on the highway, but he's got to see him. He's seen him, and now Allen looks at his watch, and he knows exactly what he's got to do. He's not been in this position for some time. Bear in mind, he's had a year off, should I say. He's had that sabbatical, and although he's raced once this year in Ironman Japan, which he won in 8 hours, 27 minutes, the form man at the moment is Thomas Hellriegel. So after the opening 2.4 mile swim, it was Mark Allen out with the lead pack behind Lars Jorgensen, who set the course record, but then it was the German soldier. He made up that 3-minute 30-second deficit and biked an incredible 17 minutes faster than Mark Allen. He was 13 minutes 40 up going out onto this final discipline, the 26.2 mile run, but the running of Mark Allen has put the grip. Put the Zen
when
Master
you get out there and you're racing
back
for
into
5,
contention.
6, 7, 8 hours in the sun, in the heat with the wind, the fantasy falls away and you're left with what I call a raw reality. And I like that because it's real.
Well, we're coming up to mile 23 in this 26.2 mile marathon course, and someone has someone else in their sights. And you can see Mark Allen can see Thomas Hellriegel. He's only 50 meters up the road. This is an amazing run by Allen, but one must question, Allen had a bit of a ride in the comfort zone of that pack. This man, Thomas Hellriegel, has done it all by himself, and one must question if Allen had to do the same, would he be able to run so fastly? Certainly this woman is starting to suffer. Paula Newby-Fraser, she had that phenomenal bike ride and now is starting to suffer. She struggled really from the go on this final marathon course. She told us before the event that she's trained really hard for this final go at winning her 8th title here, an amazing 8th title, but Karen Smyers, she's got other thoughts on her mind. She's kept her composure, kept her cadence high, and she, like Allen, has reeling in Paula Newby-Fraser. But the reeling in is coming to the end for Mark Allen. He's now something like 3 miles to go, and he really does have the soldier in his sights. And I don't think there's going to be any waiting around by Mark Allen. He's going to go right by Thomas Hellriegel. Hellriegel, well, you can't fault him. He's not slowed down. He's kept that steady pace going throughout. But Mark Allen is running an incredible run, and he's not going to be far off. 2 hours, 40 minutes for the marathon. That's just a fraction over 6-minute mile pace. Bear in mind, he's swum at 2.4 miles. He's biked 112 miles in what can only be described as some of the worst, windiest conditions we've ever known here in Hawaii. And now he's back into the position he's been in since 1989. He won in 89, that great battle with Dave Allen. He won it, Dave Scott, should I say. He won in 1990. 91, he also won. 92 and 93. 5 straight victories here in the Hawaii Ironman. He took a year off, and now he's back in that fine position once again. What a incredible effort by Mark Allen. But in the same position, virtually the same position in the Natural Energy Lab, Karen Smyers crosses Paula Newby-Fraser. She's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds behind her. That 11 minutes and 40 seconds has been cut to 3 minutes and 30. So like Allen, she is having an incredible run. Newby-Fraser is very deceiving. She's got that short, choppy style, but she does really... Well, she's been told she's got 5 minutes on Paula Newby-Fraser, on Karen Smyers. We thought it was a little less, but no, she's still got 5 minutes. 5 minutes with something like 9 miles to go. So, by my reckoning, 30 seconds a mile, which Karen Smyers is doing at the moment, will get them cutting down the finish line together. Isabelle Mouton, she's had problems. She's had stomach problems. New to this long distance event, she's suffered, as a lot of people suffer, being able to get the food and maintaining that food in her body to really maintain that energy source to the finish. But this man, the Zen Master, he's really kept that energy source going. This is going to be an incredible run by Mark Allen. So Mark Allen, we've called him everything. He really is going to be a legend here in Hawaii. This is the performance of his life by the 37-year-old Alan. I'm sure he didn't think that this was possible when he went out onto that final bike, something like 13 minutes and 40 seconds behind the German Panzer Division. They really have dominated this race, but they couldn't win. So once again, the 1995 Hawaii Ironman has been won by Mark Allen. What a performance. That must go down as one of the best ever performances in the Hawaii Ironman. But I must question if he'd done it by himself. He hadn't been in that comfort zone of the pack, would he have done the same run? Certainly Thomas Hellriegel has put up an incredible performance today, and this maybe is the end of an era for Mark Allen. He told us that this most probably will be his last race, and I think it will be. He knows now how strong the Europeans, how strong the Germans are. But no, you can't take anything away from Mark Allen. That is number 6 and equals Dave Scott's record here in Hawaii. Fantastic performance by Mark Allen. That's Julie Moss and Mats Allen, their son. But out in the lava fields, coming out of the Natural Energy Lab, reduced to a walk is Paula Newby-Fraser. She's lost something like 4 minutes in that energy lap to Karen Smyers, who's got 2 or 3 minutes on Isabelle Mouton. In fact, slightly more on that because of that problem that Isabelle Mouton had. But Thomas Hellriegel, I suppose he must be the hero of our day. He's now coming in to 2nd place. This is a fantastic performance by Thomas Hellriegel. He's coming home in 8 hours, 22 minutes and 59 seconds, just over 2 minutes behind Mark Allen. But I think you'll agree his day will come, and I'm sure it could well be in 1996. So that's Allen first, Hellriegel second. And what about Mark Allen? He's down at the finish line.
The Germans did everything they said they were going to do, Mark. They ran the race and they tried to beat you fair and square.
I thought it was going to be Germany 1, 2, 3 for a long time, and then finally I dropped Rainer Müller, and then I passed Jürgen, and then finally Hellriegel. Wow.
Now, Mark, you came back, you've equaled the record, you've got 6. Do we hear 7 or not?
Not a good time to ask. I'm completely ecstatic over what I did today, and I just want to soak that up for quite a while.
What did we tell you? Julie said you're not going to do it again.
I'd say thank you.
Well, Rainer Müller makes it 2-3 for Germany. And in fact, 8 Europeans placed in the top 15, 12 in the top 20. This was certainly Europe's year. The best Brit, well, he was in 22nd year. He was the 22nd place, should I say, for the 2nd year running. Richard Hobson was the best Brit home in 9 hours, 1 minute and 45 seconds. But I think next year we could see a European win. Christian Bustos, the man that faced death, 8 hours, 33 minutes and 29 seconds, 6th place overall. Mouton, well, she's still looking fairly comfortable, fairly composed. She's in 3rd position. She's just got to keep going now, and for a rookie, 3rd isn't bad. Karen Smyers, 3 minutes behind Paula Newby-Fraser with just 4 miles to go. They're all telling her, you can do it. You can do it, Karen Smyers. You can do it. You're catching her. But does she think that? Does she believe that? Certainly she's done it before, but not over this distance. 3rd time here, 2nd last year as her best performance, and really, she really wants to win this race. She's still got time to joke. 5-minute miles, she said, for the last 2 or 3 miles. Well, that'll be a phenomenal performance, won't it? But up ahead, it's still Paula Newby-Fraser, but she really does look desperate. She's totally out of energy. She's running on, well, just running on what she's done before. Bear in mind, she's won this race 7 times. She's taken in fluids desperately. Just 2 or 3 feed stations to go. You can see, and wow, she's down in, is she out? She's been knocked over by an aid worker. That is amazing. Look, she's straight up again. I think that really tells you that she's, I was going to say, totally out on her feet, and literally she was. But she got up so quickly, recovered so quickly. I must think that she's just running on, well, will. I don't think she knows she's running. She's totally encapsulated. Really is struggling. She's stopped once again. I think you can see she really is having major problems. I don't think she knows where she is. She's staggering around. She's weaving all over the place. She's looking back to see if Karen Smiles is coming. She knows that Karen Smiles is running her down, and she thinks, well, I've only got to walk to the finish now. Is my lead big enough? It was 3 minutes with 3 miles to go. It's now down to 2 minutes with just over a mile to go. But somehow, she's got going again. You can see why she is called the Iron Lady. Born in Harare in Zimbabwe, moved to South Africa. And Karen Smiles is getting every encouragement. Everyone else knows where she is. So only 2 turns to go. 1 turn to go after this straight. And Paula Newby-Fraser is in it. She's got something like 400-500 meters to go. That's all. Can she make it? You can see she's desperate. The last feed station. And if she turns around, she's going to have the shock of her life, because coming around that top corner is Karen Smiles. And just look at the difference in styles. Paula Newby-Fraser, she's had enough. She hasn't had enough within herself, but mentally, she's totally beaten. Totally given her all to this race here today. Well, that brings me back to memories of 1981 when Julie Moss, we saw her, the wife of Mark Allen, was in the same position. In fact, she made a Leahy drive. Paula Newby hasn't made a Leahy drive, which Karen Smiles is just coming onto, and she collapsed with 400 meters to go and literally crawled the last